We want to also see how humans actually have affected biodiversity over time. We will start with just one example. We will look at all the megafaunas or the big animals. Look at several continents going back more than 100,000 years to the last 100 years. How have human migrations affected the species that were present on that continent before the humans arrived? So, look at New Zealand and Australia, where the humans arrived much more recently, and over Africa, where they have been there from the beginning, because that is where we evolved as best as we can know, and North America, another region where humans arrived much more recently. So, on the horizontal axis is the time going from more than 100,000 years ago to the last 100 years, and on the vertical axis is the number of species, the percentage of species that were there and then decreased after humans arrived. So, the arrival of human on each continent is shown by an arrow, and you can see that over Madagascar and New Zealand, the species seems to increase because of some interactions with vegetation and climate and so on, and they remained flat for a long time. And when humans arrived, you can see that there is a rapid decline in the big species, could be kangaroos, giraffes, any kind of species, mammoths, whatever existed on that continent when the humans arrived, could be bears and so on and so forth. North America, again you can see under natural variability there was an increase. That increase happens at the same time on different continents, means it has something to do with coming out of the extinction of dinosaurs and the increase in mammals, for example. Okay? So, again after humans arrived on North Africa, there is a precipitous decline in the number of species on North America, same thing over Australia. But the main question for you is, humans have been on Africa for the longest time compared to these other continents, and yet the number of species did not decline as much as they did on other continents. Why is that? It is essentially because when humans evolved, they co-evolved with many of the species on the African continent. So, they did not see each other as a threat to each other. Humans basically hunted what they wanted to eat, and they did not indiscriminately kill whatever they thought was scary. Whereas, when they went to a new continent and they saw some big animals, they just killed them because they thought they are a danger, or they cleared the forests to live there and so on and so forth. So, you can see that humans affect megafauna everywhere they go. There is a context for this in climate change. With climate change, you want to understand how are different species being affected. It turns out that the bigger species are being affected much more than the smaller species. This again comes to how biology adapts. As Darwin said, it is not the smartest and the strongest that survive, it is the most adaptable that survive. In general, bigger species tend to be slower and poorer in adapting to change, whether it is human created change in habitats or temperature change, rainfall change and so on.